Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited, highly anticipated, we finally landed him. Finally landed him to ask the question, sir, are you the only guy in this area around here that is a European Cup participant or the Champions League participant?
As far as I know, I think it goes down in history as that. But hopefully, one of these days, there'll be some more guys that are from around this area.
Yeah, but which one are you? European or the Champions League?
Well, it was a European Cup at the time.
It was European Cup at the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
they changed. I can't remember what year they changed the name.
Okay.
For the Champions League. But yeah, back when it was 1990, so it was called the European Cup at the time. Yeah.
Okay. And so it carries over.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right. Then what we got Steve Trittschuh, ladies and gentlemen, the Wales Certified Hall of Affinity. You have your own little special corner over there.
Yeah, not a whole lot of people know about it because back then there was no social media. I still remember because it was when I was playing in Prague with Sparta Prague. After the game, there was a phone call and there were like two reporters on there asking about the game, and so that was pretty much it. So it kind of got hid after all that, but yeah, it's one of my accomplishments that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. And under full disclosure, when I was a young teenager, I used to go downtown to the theaters and watch the European Cup final in the movie house, man.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there was not much coverage back then. I mean, I know that game wasn't on TV, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy these days. You can turn on the TV at any time of day and watch a game, whether that's Champions League, EPL, any league in the world, basically.
And so, under full disclosure, you are Bob Kehoe's everything. You two were real friends, mentors, apprentice, master and student, the whole 9 yards. And one of the real big things of going to see the European Cups or the finals at that time was sitting next to or hearing Bob Kehoe and his friends. I mean, that was the show inside a show, man.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby was an unbelievable. I mean, it goes back. He was my coach in high school at Granite City North, and then we really became friends after that. And he was actually he was in my first wedding way back when. But no, I missed him. He actually, I think it was the last year I played with the Tampa Bay Mutiny. So this must have been 2001. Him and his wife Jane made it down for a game. So obviously he saw me play with the national team in that, but it was one of the last times I got to play when I played because I retired after that year, and he was able to come down and watch the game, and he hung out at my house after. They stayed there, and after the game, I mean, he stayed up. We stayed up all night. He was drinking the whole night, but I couldn't keep up with the guy.
No way, man.
No, we had a good time, and he was a special guy. And people that know him, people that have heard him speak, that he can like you said, he can captivate a room, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh man. And Florida, holy cow, Tampa Bay especially.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, yeah, that was the last year I played with the Mutiny back when in the MLS, and so it was good times back then.
Yeah, but the Tampa Bay St. Louis connection here is unbelievable with the St. Louis High School Champions League and Perry Vandenbeck.
Oh, Perry. Perry is actually, we talk probably once a month, Perry and I. We played together with a few teams, and he was one of the coaches with the Mutiny down there, and so we've stayed friends all these years. He's so active, that guy. I mean, anybody from St. Louis can say Perry, his name, and they'll know who he is.
Yeah, yeah. And he'll try to remember yours.
Nah, they probably can't even say my name. I can pronounce the last name. So, yeah.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get a lesson right here. Steve, give us the fluid off the roll of the tongue of your name.
Hey, it's just how it's spelled, Trittschuh. So
There
that
it is. There it
it's pretty
is.
it's pretty simple if you look at it, but
Yes.
people have a problem with it. But no,
Oh
I mean
yeah.
it's yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. Just it's funny having wherever you go and people pronounce your name and they
Yeah.
just I expect it most of the time, so no big deal.
And do you find that because right now you're a U23 coach?
Well, yeah, I mean that's one. I mean I've been so I came back to St. Louis in 2020 and I coached the professionals, the St. Louis FC here in the USL. And then I kind of wanted to stay in the area. At the time, my mom was still alive, and it was just being good back here. But I've stayed on. I'm the academy director at Scott Gallagher, and then I mean this summer we have it's a U23 team, but it's all these last few years, all these guys that we've coached in the at Scott Gallagher have always asked for something to do during the summer. And so we found this. It's the Midwest Premier League. So it's just all guys that have played within Scott Gallagher that are coming back, putting together a team, and then they just play, for about a couple months during the summer.
It reminds me of the old Kudus teams that they used to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, well even when I was in college, I mean we'd had the men's league, and I played with Bush. And I mean, you'd play once or twice a week, and then you'd be ready for your college season. So,
Yeah.
it's going to be something good for these guys just to keep active during the summer.
You know, as far as having like a Zoom call or something like that I would think, and I don't know, I met you briefly one time,
Mm,
and you have such a soccer knowledge that to be and and your history
yeah.
and the
Well,
people.
no, I mean, yeah, yeah, because it's well, one of the things that I say is like soccer. When I started, so I started playing in '87, and then I finished in 2001. So it was a good 14 years of playing. And the way that soccer was back then, like you had to go find somewhere to play. So I had a variety of coaches that I played under. I played under probably five different national team coaches, and then the ones in Europe. And so I always try to take something from those coaches, and I've tried to do that, bring that back when I coach professional. When I'm coaching in the academy in Gallagher here, I try and bring back those experiences of what I went through, and so it's yeah. I mean, it's all in my head, but I don't know how far that's got me. But no, I mean, it's something that I'm proud of. That like a lot of people don't have it, especially these days. I mean, guys that play, they maybe play under two or three coaches. And so, I mean, I think I've probably played under 20 plus coaches that I've taken all that, taken a lot of their ways or techniques and things to do things.
It would seem as if to be a mentor of the great Bobby Kehoe, he was like
Hmm.
St. Louis, but he was like the national
Yeah.
touchstone, and
Yeah.
and so Bobby, he could still play in the older years. He had a way with the ball.
Yeah, no, I know I still remember when I was in high school, he'd be out there playing, and I don't remember how old he was, probably in his 50s, but he was fit. He was always fit.
Yeah,
And I mean, and I take a lot of things, from him that I remember and that I learned from him. But these kids these days, it's a different world. Back then it was a lot of just hard work and grit, and today everything is just so specific to what you're doing, and you got to figure out how these guys react to it. And so, like I said, it's a different world now, and you can't do a lot of the things that we did back then to the kids now. So
wow. But far as the ball mastery,
mm,
is there can you tell your fans, is there something different now than it wasn't then?
Well, now it's people preach, you do everything with the ball. And I really agree with that, but I still think there are times when these kids have to be pushed, whether it's physically or mentally, to get to that next level. So, and you're seeing the players that have, went through our academy, and now some over at St. Louis City, in their program now. There's a different mentality to these kids, and so that's what it is these days. That a lot of these kids, they just go through it, and but I look for those kids that have the passion, of wanting to get better. And you can tell. I mean, there's kids that they come to training and they get out of there quick, and there's some that want to ask questions, some that want to do a little bit more, and those are the kids that are probably going to get to the next level. And so it's trying to find those kids that have that passion.
Well, I guess, I don't feel like I'm wandering in the woods because that's the Chef Whalen. That's what he would be doing, looking for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
diamond, man.
Yeah, no, you have to, and then we still do a really good job. I mean, at Scott Gallagher, there are probably, I don't know how many players over now at City, and then throughout the MLS, that have gotten to that next level. I mean, look at Josh Sargent. I mean, he's a product out of Scott Gallagher. But then, recently we've got kids that are at City that have signed professional contracts, and those are the kids that we're really proud of. And then, but right now, a lot of our focus is on trying to find these kids colleges. And so, trying to get them to that next level in the college and finding the college that they want. So, we get to do a really good job on that. Right now, with our U19 MLS Next team, I think there's just one more senior, and he should be signing something this week, I think, and then we're done with those guys here. So it's a really good organization there.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I don't know what it was, Steve, but before it was like taking you from the cradle to the grave. And that's kind of like with soccer,
Yeah.
it takes you there, and if you want to go someplace, blah blah blah. But how about, can you imagine more United States coaches of the international and national team level?
hmm Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of. I mean, I know a lot of the American coaches that are coaching in the MLS right now, and I hate. One of the things that I hate seeing is um, that some of these guys don't get a chance. They bring in international coaches. We need to develop our coaches in this country, and for them to be in the MLS, that's what we need. And then there are some that have been over in Europe. Obviously, Bob Bradley is probably the one. Jesse Marsh has been over there. Just they've had a little bit of success, but we need someone with that success, because it's kind of like when players, like when I went over to Europe back in the early '90s. There was no respect to us as American players, and I think in the last few years we've really gained that respect. But now we got to do that for the coaching part of it, and then I think the start of it is keep developing our coaches in the MLS here and giving them a chance.
I mean, wow! Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. Everybody thinks of it. Nobody wants to say it, but
uh,
that's how I feel. Yeah.
oh yeah, and a lot of it is, hey, you have to hire them. The owners
Yeah.
have to be willing to hire,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
talk.
They're always looking for that big splash of a big international name or whatever. But if you look at the success throughout the MLS, I mean, what's been 30 years now, I guess. Um, for the most part, there's been a few international coaches that have won the championship, but for the majority has been American coaches. So
Yeah,
that's great for these guys.
right. So there you have it. Now, what about the agent? Do you have any words of beware of an agent or uh,
Yeah.
come on, fellas, straighten up your
Yeah. I
tie.
mean, when I was playing, I didn't really use one. I did it at a little bit of a time, but for me, it was different back then. I do believe now, if you want to get to that next level, that you probably need someone to take care of your things because some of these guys are making a lot of money these days. What we weren't making that much money back when, but no, I mean, it's finding the right person that looks out after your right interests. When I had an agent, it was basically people that I really knew well that would take care of me. But I think it's finding that person that you can trust and they can help you on at a bigger level.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
And so you have it. You've seen enough to know. What about the cleats, the boots, the
Yeah,
uniforms? Would
yeah.
are they?
They've changed, man. I mean, the boots these days. I mean, I obviously back when I was Copas and World Cups for Adidas, and so they don't make those types of shoes anymore with the kangaroo leather, nice and soft, and get them a little bit tighter, and you get them wet, and then they form around your foot. So, you know, the boots these days are so high tech, and they're expensive, man. They're expensive. So, I mean, I feel for these parents these days buying these kids boots that I I see them all. They all have the top one basically, and probably it's over 200 bucks, 200 bucks a pair or whatever. So, but yeah, it's crazy. And then uniforms. I mean, I wish I had the ones today because they're so like they don't cling to your body. I mean, we had heavy playing in 100-degree heat in heavy uniforms, and so it's just totally different. So, but yeah, everything's changed.
Uh huh. Okay, because that's a real deal. When you mention kangaroo, I mean, wow.
Yeah, I know.
And then,
Those are the best.
yeah, and then to wet them around so
Yep.
they mold.
Oh yeah, you stick them in the whatever to make the heat for the wraps and everything. You stick them in there for about 5 minutes, put them on your foot, and they mold right around your foot. It was great.
Woo! Okay then. So there you have it. Now about uh, the sidelines. Uh, do you miss on the other? They're on the same side of the field, and
Yeah,
were the days we played, they were across each other.
yeah, I know. I mean, it's probably something that especially with youth soccer, they should change that because the parents these days are they're terrible. I mean they get on the referees too much and that. But at least if you have them on your side, you can control them a little bit more. But it's I don't know if that's ever going to change. But yeah, parents these days, man, it's just I hate hearing that because we're in a referee shortage these days, and some of these kids that they get abuse from the parents and then they just quit. So we need to just shut up, let them do what they have to do. And that's the other thing is trying to grow the referee, so they can get to the next level also. I mean, because that's a big thing in this country, for referees going to the World Cup or to Olympics or whatever. And so we need to keep developing referees in this country.
Yeah, we have one of the national Hall of Famers, Esty, that was
Yeah.
from around this town.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know a lot of those guys. I mean, they were referees in the MLS when I was still playing, and had decent relationships with them. But yeah, we need to keep doing that for referees.
Yep. So there you have it. Now the pitches. Uh, being you might have played on top of a burial ground or a mine, a
Yeah.
mine or something
Oh.
when you grew up, and then you go to the plushness of SIU Edwardsville.
Yeah.
How you like the How you like the?
Yeah, I mean, the grass field's kind of going away these days, but it was, back when. playing on those hard turfs. I mean, I just had my second hip replacement about 2 months ago, and I probably it's probably those turfs out at the soccer park that way back in the 80s. Because it was just like a thin layer of turf on concrete,
Yeah.
but no, I mean things have changed these days. Obviously, I mean there's especially out of the soccer park. I mean, I've got what six nice fields out there, all turfed up, and but yeah, the turf these days is almost like grass, to tell you the truth. But if I had my choice, it'd be a nice grass field for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just something about it. Get some dirt in your mouth,
That's right, grass stains.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so here you go. You have that outlook, that youthful appearance, and that you're forever young. What about the situation, ethnicity wise, in your neighborhood? Did you have Czechoslovakian areas or?
Um, yeah, in Granite City there was a Mexican population, a Polish population, but for the most part, when I grew up, I played with St. Elizabeth because it was the one of the Catholic schools that I went to back from first grade to eighth grade, and um, but back then, you didn't really see that. I mean, I didn't see all that stuff back when. But it was just growing up in Granite. That's what you did. I mean, you played either with your school. There were a couple other clubs, but no, it was like I said, it was different these days because right now, like with the MLS Next and all the leagues they have in the United States, all these kids pretty much do is play soccer, which I mean I played soccer, I played basketball, and I played baseball all through high school. And I thought that helped me become the player I am. Just different movements and things like that. Right now, these kids, it's all specific to one sport, and that's maybe there's a lot of injuries that are happening, and that could possibly be just because everything is your body's just moving at one sport. You're not developing your body through different types of sports and things like that. So, but I get it these days that everybody wants to try and get to the next level, and it's pretty much 10, 12 months a year that these kids are playing soccer.
Oh man, tell me, woo, tell me, come on, man,
Yeah.
that's work instead of play.
Yeah, no, for sure, no, for sure, and with especially within Gallagher, these parents they do a lot for these kids because we travel a lot. It's not far, but like I said, it's pretty much it's 10 months out of the year that these kids are playing, and so and then those other 2 months, a lot of them are doing camps, uh, doing other things, but it's all soccer, pretty much 12 months a year for these kids.
Yeah, and you've been there, you've seen uh, others.
Mhm.
Is there a possibility that someone has I sleep for 8 hours, eat for two, so that gives me 14 hours
Mhm.
to take that and play that
Mhm.
soccer and then to recover and do everything. Can you make a soccer player like a Frankenstein? I mean,
No, I mean, no, because I mean, you can't. I mean, like I said, there's a lot that goes into it with development. Your physical part of it is a big thing. Your mental part of it is also another thing, and then you got to work on your technique and how can you get to and then play it at with a good competitive team to make you better. And so um, it's not easy. And you see kids probably at 13, 14 that you see, man, these kids are gonna, you're thinking that they're gonna get to that next level, but then maybe they don't develop physically enough, or they get tired of things mentally, or maybe their parents pushed them too much and they're sick of the game. And so you just gotta, a lot of this in this coaching thing, and a lot of what we have to do, it's like a lot of psychology part of it too. You got to be smart with these kids, and there's a time to push them, and maybe there's a time to, let's have a good time today or whatever. Let's not really make it so serious. And so you got to balance all that with the player and see how they do. But as they get a little bit older, you can start telling who's going to get to that next level. I look around the 15, 16 age group, and I can see maybe I think this kid can make it to the next level. But you never know. Like there's a lot of things going on these days at home, at school, whatever. And so you just gotta try and keep educating these kids on what they need to do.
Man, oh man. I mean, in a real sense, everybody who's ever played goalkeeper is a goalkeeper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they're a different breed. And that's why, you like to see these goalkeepers a little, they're a little different. And so, we have to see these kids, but, we have a really good, goalkeeper coach at Gallagher, Paulo Nascimento, that he plays with, he's a goalkeeper for the Ambush.
Absolutely.
And this guy is one of the best goalkeeper coaches I've ever come across. And I think he might he's getting close to retiring, but he's out there all the time with these kids, and they soak it in. He's a very good educator of the game to these kids, and the way he coaches, the way he talks to the kids, I mean, it's a different level.
Yeah, and you could see the presence about him. He's like that other Brazilian, Miguel de Lima. He was such a prince of the game.
Paulo's great, man. Yeah.
So you got 2 more minutes with me?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So we go that whole way of it takes, that when they talk about the it, and the whale says, hey man, that it is the heart that goes from, it's in between the mind and the foot. And you seem to have tapped onto that. And I was wondering, for a lack of vocabulary, they got finishing schools, or you go to ranger school, the top notch. Is there a way for the people who around in a particular area said, man, I think the kid's going to be really something, that he or she, and that he or she gets on a plane or a train or a bus and goes to a training location so that all eyes are on them for a weekend or a week or something. Is that a recipe for disaster, or is that a recipe to really make it happen?
Yeah, I mean, it depends a lot. I mean, because I'll give you the example of like our kids in our academy. They go to these college showcase or ID sessions. Usually for maybe Saturday and a Sunday, and the coaches are there watching them. I always tell them, if it's really one place you want to go, then go to it. But a lot of these things, what I see is it's just like, it's kind of a moneymaker for a lot of these schools. And if, most of the times if they're serious about it, I'll usually call the coach or email the coach and say, hey, can you just pay attention to this kid a little bit and let me know your thoughts and all this. And it's, for the most part, they'll do it, because I know a lot of these guys, but, it's really, a lot of it is just right place, right time. And whether it's a college coach, whether it's a scout for a professional team or scout for overseas, it's just because I can go and watch a player. I'm pretty much within 15 minutes, I can tell if that player's got it or not. And so you just never know who's watching. I always tell these kids, hey, you never know who's around, who's at training. Maybe you're going to catch the eye of somebody in 15 minutes, and that could lead you to something else. And so, the kids always had to be ready, and that's what I'm saying with this passion for the game for these kids that can get to the next level. They've got to be turned on like every time they step on the field. It can't be I'm turning it off right now. And so, I would just suggest always taking the game serious and doing the best you can and showing what you can on the field every day.
Man, a guy talked about tips. Yeah, I'll
Mm-hmm.
give you a tip. Is a technique, insight, personality, and speed.
There you go. Yeah.
And you take yourself everywhere you go. And I've seen it, and I'm sure somebody saw me. Because I remember, every once in a while, it was like, holy cow, man! I'm like a gymnastic guy. I'm working out so good.
Yeah.
And then another time say, hey, send that kid home for God's sake.
Right. Yeah.
So here, I want you to know that I know that you know, and I would tell everybody and anybody. You, the Ghost, Keith Gearling, Ruben Mendoza, Bobby
Yeah.
Kehoe, and my man from the north. Oh God, I forgot his name. The Irishman, the soccer guy, coach.
Well, Gene Baker was there. I mean, you could
Yes,
put Gene in there.
yes,
Uh,
Gene Baker. What I'm
yeah.
getting at is this: from being in St. Louis all my life and looking out, you are like the shiny example of Granite City. I mean, it's, and there's, we're only talking a couple handfuls.
Yeah.
And
No,
man,
it was different growing up back then. I mean, really, I remember going into SAU that first year, and it was myself and John Stone. He was from Alton. We're really one of the first two Illinois guys to go over there. And
wow.
I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, at the first part, because it was all North County, South County guys, and
Yeah,
but then I went in and did my thing, and I got their respect, and then went on from there. And so things have changed in college soccer for sure, especially in this area. But no, yeah, I'm proud of what I did. I mean, but there are a lot of players around this area. I mean, I work with Steve Petcher every day out at the soccer park and see him, and I mean, he was one of the top players come out of this. I mean,
oh,
I can go on.
absolutely.
I can go on and on. I mean, there was a few weeks ago I went to the ambush game when they had the ceremony for Mark Moser, and I got to talk to Al Trost a little bit. And
Wow.
it's things like that I really enjoy,
Yeah,
and just knowing these guys from the area and just being a part of that. I mean, to be included in like names from that. I mean, I'm just can't even believe it.
yeah, right, yeah. And the whole area is that I could just imagine, but that's all that takes me. I look up in the stars of
Yeah.
having like 100 miles radius of the team. You know,
Well, I mean, you can go back until way, way back. I mean, obviously the guys, Harry Keogh, those guys back in with the 1950 World Cup and that. But it's just, I mean, like I said, just to be included in names like that, like Altros, Pat McBride, Bobby Keogh. Like I said, I can go on and on. Steve Petcher, Perry Vanderbeek. I mean, um, it's an honor to do that, and
yeah.
I don't take that for granted at any time. And like I said, anytime I get to see these guys, it's kind of cool to see them all out there.
Well, in closing, it was always uh, when you were in the presence of Bobby. Bobby, tell us a story.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, he's crazy, man. I mean, like I said, he was in my first wedding, and he had a speech that he did in front of everybody at the reception, and people were on the floor just laughing. I mean, I'll never forget that. And but yeah,
Right,
he is a great guy. I miss him, and yeah, great memories with him.
right. So you're in the Wales Certified Hall of Affinity, and and I want to reach out to you to say, it's a custom here at Whale Certified to say, hey, whatever you want to say to who you ever want to say it to, for as long as you want to say it for.
Well, yeah, I mean it's great getting the word out. But yeah, I'm happy to be back in this area. I mean, it's to see my friends and to be able to work at Gallagher now, and just to be involved in the soccer scene here, it's special. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just proud of what I did, and hopefully people are aware of it.
Well, I tell you, me and a couple of my buddies, we're like, late 60s, early 70s. We'll pick you up on our shoulders and carry you around the room.
I don't want you guys to get hurt, but no. No, like I said, I appreciate having me on, and no, it's been great. Yeah.
All right, Steve. Thank you very much. And
yeah, no problem.
Yours, yeah. Whale Certified Hall of Affinity, Steve Trittschuh. Okay, bye-bye, Steve.
All right, take care. Thanks.